Nothing in life matters quite as much as you think it does while you're thinking about it. You're caught up in your thoughts. Step back and look at your progress. Look at the discipline and rigor you've brought into your life. You're not at your goal yet, but you will get there. Don't let the negative thoughts determine your reality. Hello, friends. It's the Carnivore Rabbi here, as always, to meet, pray, and love. A viewer emailed me a couple days ago. She started Carnivore about 8 months ago. And for the first 6 months, she gained weight. Yes, gained weight. Like Kelly Hogan, who's a famous carnivore now, and she gained weight the first 6 months. And this woman, this reader, really thoughtful, was incredibly frustrated during that time. She was angry even. And somehow she got through it. And today she is thriving. And you're going to learn her story. We scheduled an interview. But I asked her via email, what got her through it? How did she make it? How did she stay persistent? And she told me one word, patience, patience. Patience is incredibly hard. As I mentioned in a live stream with Chad, the minimalist carnivore, earlier today, the Hebrew word for patience is savlanut. Savlanut also means suffering. Suffering. Patience can be a form of suffering. It's insufferable, so to speak. It's like waiting in line at the airport and you're just suffering. But patience is essential. Patience makes progress possible. Let me say that again. This is what you need to remember. Patience makes progress possible. So how do we develop patience? I'm going to tell you some very time-tested, proven techniques, really based in biblical wisdom and in social psychology. And learning those techniques we will be able to apply these techniques for patience to many other areas of life. I'll even include a very powerful mantra at the end. So make sure you stay to the end to learn it. It's really life-changing. I've been doing it myself for about, learned at the beginning of rabbinical school, so for 23 years. But first, if you're enjoying this, hit and subscribe, because I am patiently awaiting hearing that ding that I've got a new subscriber. First thing we need with patience is perspective. Perspective. You're going to feel very frustrated if you're not winning at first. You're going to think this diet will never work. You're going to think it's all pointless and all these YouTubers are lying or just got lucky. When you hear this, it's your amygdala taking over. But here's a healthy piece of advice from Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman, who I made a video about 2 months ago. Quote, "Nothing in life matters quite as much as you think it does while you're thinking about it. You're caught up in your thoughts. Step back and look at your progress. Look at the discipline and rigor you've brought into your life. You're not at your goal yet, but you will get there. Don't let the negative thoughts determine your reality. Don't take rash actions like stopping before you really see the benefit. It takes 9 months for a baby to gestate and be born. God works slowly, so does your body. You'll get there. Second, sometimes not doing is winning. Patience is a step toward victory. Or to put a twist on a familiar phrase, don't just do something, stand there. Now, this is the opposite of what we learn. We always think we should be acting, doing. But consider this story from the great Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. It's from War and Peace. I know most people haven't read it. It's very long, but you've heard of it, right? So in War and Peace, General frustrates his comrades, his soldiers, by refusing to take actions against Napoleon. Maneuver, they urge him, outflank him, attack. But the general, except for ordering an occasional retreat, insists on doing as close to nothing as he can. Napoleon, on the other hand, is a frenzy of activity. As a result, his supply lines are overextended, and the Russian winter devastates his army. he is forced to withdraw, beaten, back to France. The Russians wait him out and win. Tolstoy summarizes the general's approach as, the less you do, the less you err. That's true for us as well. Stick with carnivore. Patience, third, patience becomes easier the more you do it. It's like a muscle. Carnivores who fast regularly know this. The first few times are very hard, but it gets easier. You're not thinking about food all the time. You are more focused on the present. That actually is the gift of patience. And that's part of how we make progress. Patience is so essential to success. Sometimes you just have to hold on for 5 minutes longer. The more times, the more experiences you have being patient, the stronger that muscle becomes. So you can make it. You just got to hold on a little bit longer. Fourth, patience is not only a step towards victory, it is essential for it to last. An impatient person may win a battle. A patient person wins the war. There's a story told of a man who found the cocoon of a butterfly. One day, a small opening appeared. He sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to force its body through that little hole. Then it seemed to stop making progress, the butterfly. It appeared as if it had gotten as far as it could, and it could go no further. So you know what happens next. The man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bit of the cocoon. The butterfly then emerged easily. But it had a swollen body and a small, shriveled wings. The man continued to watch the butterfly because he expected that at any moment the wings would enlarge and expand to be able to support the little body, which would contract in time. Neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled wings. It was never able to fly. In his kindness, the man did not understand that the struggle required for the butterfly to get through the tiny opening was God's way of forcing fluid from its body into its wings so that it would be ready for flight once it let itself out of the cocoon. It couldn't be helped to do this. The process cannot be speeded up. Think about that. We pass through those cocoons all by ourselves, and only then do we take flight. It's really important. Patience is essential to success. But everything I've told you so far is philosophical. But I want to give you a very practical tip. It's a mantra I learned, actually my first year in rabbinical seminary. It comes from King Solomon, who reigned in Israel from 970 to 931 BCE, almost 3,000 years ago, more than 3,000 years ago. He was a wise man and was seeking knowledge on how to make a sad man happy and a happy man sad. This was the challenge. He sent his wisest minister to bring him a ring with these magical powers. The ring had to make a sad man happy and a happy man sad. What a challenge. This wise man searched and searched all over for this ring. Most likely, the king knew he would never find it, but the wise sage didn't give up. He wanted to find that ring and impress the king. He finally went into the old city of Jerusalem and found a craftsman who worked in metal. The craftsman turned to his grandfather, an older craftsman, with this odd request, something that would make a sad man happy and a happy man sad. And the old man, the old craftsman, the grandfather, went into his workshop and appeared with a ring. The ring he brought out to the wise man, the minister to the king, had a phrase engraved on the inside of it. Can you guess what that phrase was? The phrase was Gam ze ya'avor, which in Hebrew means, this too shall pass. Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass. Think about that. It can make a happy man sad and a sad man happy. When presented to King Solomon, the king was dumbfounded. No one thought there could be such a thing that makes you stop in your path, reflect on the past, the present, the future, and remind you that the state you are in is not going to last forever. Wherever you are in your journey, if you're struggling or you're ecstatic, Gam ze ya'avor, this too will pass. You will get through this. Maintenance, sustaining this way of life is what is essential. Good things, as the poet Longfellow said, come to those who but wait.